Italy, I got to see you guys work in 3 different type of ways. One with the food distribution, the other with the sports camp, and the other when we got to go into the ESL classes. And each one of those, to me, brought out a different aspect of your personalities.
One of my favorite things was, or how I showed Jesus was in our sports camp. There's a bunch of kids on the side, didn't know their names. We were playing basketball, pickup basketball, and I just invited them in. And, language barriers, it didn't matter, because if you know how to play the game, you can just play together and build that community with them. So it was great to see that you can invite anybody in, and you just got to take that step, to invite them in.
One of my favorite part is also to talk with those Italian students, and they have tons of homework, and they have very difficult exams, tests, and only one test can decide their whole life. That's totally different from our American students' life. And also, it's very sad to see that God is not in their life, and God is not leading them. So some of them may drink or smoke at a very young age. So that's very sad. And yeah.
What about your experience in the vineyard when we had a teaching on John 15?
I loved how Giovanni, he was the vineyard keeper, and he did a lesson on John 15, and I thought it was amazing because the way that he described being grafted into Christ, he described it so clearly, and when I read that passage, or when I read that chapter, it was hard for me to visualize it. And he showed us what it meant to be grafted into something, and I thought that was just amazing.
It's very encouraging when you hear how much work he has done on his vineyard and how much heart he has poured into it. And the reason why he does that is because he believes that God works through that. And I think that his lessons that he teaches there are also they're very moving, because a lot of students during sports camp, they go through his lesson, and I think it's very, it's very cool. That's just that's just how I can say. It's just because I love seeing faith show through people just in how joyful they are.
Another part of impact trips, particularly international ones, that is a favorite for me is when we are not just doing ministry, but we're actually experiencing the country itself. And particularly Italy, it is so old, and it's been around a long time, but it has a lot of our story as believers. It has a lot of our story in it. But did that change your perspective of, even a global perspective, of God's heart for the world?
So just walking around, but then we came to the Spanish Steps, and I was like, okay, might as well walk up, and why not? So I went up with a smaller group, and there was a church up there, and we were like, okay, let's see if the church is open. And it was open, and we went in, and it was just the most beautiful choir I've ever heard. And it just sitting there, it felt like an hour.
For me, definitely one of my favorite things was Rome. Seeing the history and the connections that it has with the Bible as well. When we went to the Colosseum and then to the Paul's prison, it really struck me how close they are together, because at the Colosseum they used to kill Christians, and then one of the apostles was so close to it, and yet for 2 years while he was imprisoned, in Acts it says that he was proclaiming the kingdom of God. And I think it really, because I never knew that before I actually went on the trip.
Seeing where Peter landed at the church was another cool thing.
Every trip, you guys, that you have been on and prepared for, it's always been impressive. I want you to know that it has always been impressive that you have done the work. And I hope that you do see that doing the work makes the trip even more powerful to know. Jesus tells us to do it at home, go a little further, and then go a little further. And you guys have had the opportunity to just live that, to do that through the impact trips. And I'm hoping that you will take that with you forever, no matter where you go. We thank you that you've given us the time, but we hope that you will not only give the time for this, but that you will give your time for the kingdom of God for eternity, because that's what